Good start. Let's start the video.
Okay. Hi, it's Tom and Shannon.
Hello.
Hi, back for day 2 of Strata and Hadoop World 2016 in San Jose. Probably marginally more jet lagged today. I think it's actually starting to catch up now. So, let's get started. So day 2 was sessions. We're actually into the full flow of the conference now. So one of the things which is interesting about this conference, I think, is just there's the sense that what are you missing, because we have like about 12 different concurrent sessions in each time slot. They're all 40 minutes. So, you kind of have this dilemma of what you go and see, and there's like the sense that you're missing something. But we'll start with the keynotes. So I'll let you take the keynotes, Shannon.
So what happened here is we were doing the keynotes this morning, or yesterday morning. Yesterday is today, today is tomorrow. And just because we were editing videos, one of us decided to really focus on these keynotes and the other decided to edit. So the keynotes were 8 back-to-back between 5 and 10 minute sessions, some of them actually 4 minutes. Really, really interesting. Not an awful lot of room for the people up there to give us a lot of information. So the ones that I found most interesting are the human rights, data and analytics group talk, a small bit of Peak BI by Pivotal, Neurologics with the AI side, big visual data. Now, Megan Price is working with HR DAG, they call themselves, identifying individual deaths in homes. This is actually quite similar to a project we were working on, yourself anyway, Tom, back in Keynotes, which is really cool. The only thing is this is completely different turn on it. This is identifying individual deaths. So in war, there's, it's really hard to identify who's dead. Is the problem. It's something that's ethical and moral, but you still need to do it. So deaths are reported multiple times to different people in different lists, and then it's identifying the individuals out of all that. It's really, really good, and it's a nice use case. I highly recommend going and looking up the paper on that, actually, which, I don't know, we can stick that. You can stick a link to that in the description. Ian Andrews had quite an interesting talk on Peak BI. So this is just a new notion he's made up based on have we reached a state where the market in BI is just so saturated that a new tool will just cause it to fall over again. So all the previous customers are going to just try out this new tool and lose them. This is quite enforced by recent news that Click had a bit of a push to try and check out what sales opportunities they have. That was quite interesting. Then we went on to where we are with AI. It's a challenging one because it enforces what I said yesterday about the way machine learning is lagging kind of behind. Jenna Eggers is at the point where she's trying to get everybody involved in AI, so everybody from lawyers to neurosurgeons. That's really the situation that we're in at the minute. And then there's the big visual data side of things. So this was very much a research-based talk, but very, very interesting, by Alyosha Efros from UC Berkeley, really identifying, working with visual images and how you can't label them with human terms. But yeah, that was the keynotes, and we'll move on to the next step.
Okay, so once again, I'm going to rein us in from all the interesting technical stuff that was covered yesterday. So I suppose when we set out to cover this conference, we kind of identified a few different streams, and I suppose kind of big data business strategy was one of them. So this talk was by Bill Schmarzo from EMC. Hopefully got that name right. So the whole thing here was, you don't need a big data business strategy. You need a business strategy that incorporates big data, or at least data-driven decision making. So the 5 steps that are outlined here were his pipeline for how you go to, setting out your stall for investment, basically, and moving towards being a more data-driven organization. So identifying business initiatives, so trying to look at the things in your business in the next 6 months to 12 months, or whatever, that are kind of really driving things, what your concerns are. And then from that, you try to tie that back to actual specific use cases. And from there, then it's basically looking at how you then take that into what do you require in terms of data that you currently have, data that you would need, that you're going to have to acquire, and then how you would develop a team, whether you're looking at developing an internal team, kind of going back to the talk yesterday about big data architectures. What does your technology roadmap look like? What technologies are you going to need to invest in order to actually turn this into a reality? I'm not really going to go into too much more detail on this. I mean, the slides are currently available on the Strata website, and we'll put a link in the description. What I am going to say about this is I would highly recommend this book. So this book is probably the one I would say, if you're going to buy a book on data science, machine learning, get this one. It doesn't go into any specific tools. It doesn't go into too much of the detail, but it goes into just enough of the concepts, of the techniques. And really this is all about, even if you're not a techie, if you're a project manager, if you're a business leader, what do you actually look for in a robust business case for this kind of thing? So really, really good. I'd highly recommend that. So back onto the
Spark,
tool stuff. Yeah, Spark, and Kafka. As we said yesterday on our Tech Watch, these are the kind of the recurring things that are coming up again and again. So I'll let you take the first point.
Process mining. So this is interesting. Another one of those things that goes into machine learning side of what we do in analytics. So this is quite new to me. So this was a talk by Bulk.
Can I just say, what's an incremental algorithm?
Yeah, that's the one where you increment, then you increment within the increment.
Okay, sorry, continue.
That's a spelling mistake, unfortunately. Yes. From ING. So Bulk de Bruin from ING. I hope I pronounced that right as well.
Yeah.
Doing a bit of work with process mining on fraud analytics, really. This is very interesting in that currently the process mining algorithms out there are, they're one step. They take a large step. So the whole target of this was to split it down into individual incremental steps.
Okay.
So it was. It's quite interesting, the approach that was taken here. The example that was given, so going through security in an airport, you have each step there. So identifying fraud would be like skipping steps. Same as clickstream if you skip the likes of two-factor authentication. That was a nice talk. Not too much detail. And then, of course, moved on to no lambda again. Tom?
Yeah, no lambda. So there was a lot of debate, probably getting into overly concerned with what the definitions of things are. I know engineers tend to do that, but still. So the whole idea of no lambda is we've kind of moved beyond the lambda architecture. So the lambda architecture, I'll include a link, actually a really good link that was included in one of the presentations as to what the lambda architecture actually is. But effectively it's now kind of seen as this more historical approach to kind of solving problems with earlier frameworks like Storm, where you could get into a situation where your counters were being perhaps incremented more than once. So this is it's really all about handling failure states. So the SMAC stack, which we mentioned yesterday, is Scala, Mesos, Akka, Cassandra, and Kafka. And it's really a stack which is primarily for streaming data, stream processing, real-time analytics. Now, one talk which was really interesting as part of this was Alex Silva from Pluralsight. So he was talking about their data platform called Hydra. Now this is going to be open sourced soon, which is really exciting, but effectively it is a SMAC stack implementation. So they have a whole infrastructure, like an API built on top of Akka for capturing data from different APIs. That's fed into Kafka, so Kafka's kind of like the backbone of their data platform. Although I don't think they actually use Cassandra, I think they use Druid, from what I recall. You can find out in the slides exactly what it was, but I just thought that was really interesting and probably my favorite talk so far, actually. He was really good, really good slides. and good delivery. PhiloDB was Evan Chan from TupleJump. I'll include again a link to his blog explaining exactly what that is. Exactly what that is, but effectively it is a streaming and time series add-on addition to Cassandra. So it uses Cassandra as a storage engine. It uses Spark as its analytical engine, but it includes kind of some cool stuff in there. It's like in memory. There's a columnar store. It's a lot faster than Cassandra for analytical queries, and it is specifically geared towards that use case where you're wanting to put time series data into Cassandra. So that was really interesting, which kind of leads on to the final point here.
Yes.
From yourself.
So time series. This is all about a little talk by Sandy Riza from. He was in Cloudera, is now moved over to Clover Health on dealing with time series data and Spark streaming. This is really interesting in the approach you take to it, why it's different. So you have, everything's IID. So that's the main thing to look at. Bundling up observations, really. Really how you do that with Spark streaming is this new data frames API. A new part in the data frames API, which has just come out recently. So you have window functions like lag and things like that. So it's kind of like carrying that window across and bundling things up. So you kind of need that to, make your observations grouped into larger observations, really. That's really all that talk is about. Really good, really engaging talk by Sandy Riza. He's a young guy and he's very enthusiastic about this, which is nice.
There's a separate talk, it wasn't as part of this conference, but I noticed one of the Databricks, I think it was Spark Summit East. I think if you go to the Apache Spark YouTube channel, they actually have all of these videos up. They have like about 60 or 70 videos from that conference. And I think it was Reynolds Zinn was talking about how Spark streaming is going to evolve, how they effectively want in Spark 2.0 to kind of make streaming go away. So you're not having to necessarily worry about how you guarantee exactly once delivery and all these kind of non-functional things. They want you to be able to focus on your logic and kind of make all that hard stuff go away. Ambitious, but that's an interesting goal. Okay, so record service. Record service is a unified authorization framework for Hadoop. So this is developed by Cloudera and is open sourced under the Apache license. I think it's probably an incubating project at the moment. It's certainly beta. I think it was developed in conjunction with Capital One. So Capital One was the customer Cloudera was working with to actually develop this for. So for a bit of background, really Cloudera are heavily kind of invested in Sentry. So Sentry is a project for defining group policies, for access control on Hadoop. Record service kind of takes that a level further. So it provides row and column level based access control effectively. So in the view that you can see on this page here, this illustrates first of all the masking function. So it allows you to actually mask, sensitive fields like credit card numbers as part of your selects kind of out of the Hive metastore. And it allows you to say in this query we're filtering on region equals Europe. You could have a team which you only want to have row level access to those particular records, so it allows you to do that as well. It's kind of to me it's just another example of maturation of Hadoop really. So they're increasingly adding all these features.
It's getting very enterprise.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly it. It's getting very enterprise. So, just the fact that someone like Capital One is making this a really core part of their infrastructure, you can see they're wanting all these standard things that they're used to, So it's really that. That's really all I have to say about record service. It's in beta. It's worth keeping an eye on. It's something that you definitely see asked for. We've seen it asked for, this kind of thing.
Hearing a lot of things around this enterprise kind of setup that Hadoop's going towards, and in fact it's probably the next thing that we're going to talk about here.
Okay.
So, that's exactly what it is. Controversial is what it is. So governance and uptime. This is leading on pretty much from the enterprise state that Tom was previously talking about there. SLAs and KPIs in Hadoop, it's not something that we talk about a lot, especially as technical people. especially in Hadoop. But with this shift to bringing all these enterprise features in, so a lot of big corporations and that are starting to use Hadoop in a way that they're starting to see what they can do with it, and they're using it for much more business critical bits and pieces. So SLAs are starting to get pretty important, and KPIs aren't even mentioned. This talk was by Keith Manthe in EMC. I'm not sure. Some of these bits were quite controversial in my opinion. So he mentioned data locality being dead. Yeah, which shifting everything virtual. It goes directly against what we believe. Performance is key at the end of the day. But his argument was separating compute and storage for the simple fact of uptime, which you can achieve. It's a lot more challenging to achieve it with Hadoop in the current state, but it's getting better and better and better. So that's all the enterprise features coming in. SLAs still agree that they could be important. Geolocated clusters, so your DR in a different location. It all makes sense, and it's all stuff that we do anyway. But the data locality thing's a big question mark. I don't quite agree with that.
Yeah, I think it's another one of those symptoms, as you say, of Hadoop being something which, if you look at the trajectory that it's on, you're moving away from people doing pilots and proof of concepts to actually putting it into mission critical systems, and then you need all the stuff that comes with that. So to us, because that's kind of our background anyway, it's not really surprising that you would want that, but I guess out there in Hadoop land, it's maybe...
A lot of people are just throwing it in there, see what it can do, and then 2 years later, whenever it's business critical, they're saying, where's my SLAs?
Yeah.
Which is too late.
Okay, Dataviz.
Yeah, so this is just something I wanted to quickly cover. This was all about data visualization and how you should design those. It's a talk. The talk was actually titled "What Engineers Can Learn from Designers," which I find quite intriguing because, especially in the BI sense, you always want to get across what you're trying to describe in the most efficient way possible, and it's something that, as engineers, we can think quite logically and forget about the creative side too. Which is challenging. I just wanted to get this down somewhere. Consistency, density, and overlay. There are different tools that you can use to achieve efficient communication of data to someone else's mind, really. You're always going to need to use subsets of all the available dimensions, so that will drive what you're trying to communicate. And highlighting data points that's really just, if you want to entice someone, give it a different color. This individual data point. It will make them start to interact with it, which is nice. It's opening the door to get someone involved.
Yeah, drawing people in.
And this one final thing that Sebastian from F Function mentioned was perceived complexity. So that's the only challenge, that he is an engineer and designer, which is interesting. Perceived complexity really implies that something that we might find very, very intuitive, very, very straightforward, the end user probably isn't. That's the case. So you always need to get them involved in an early stage to see what makes it work for them.
Yeah, this is really interesting actually. So I kind of meant to cover this as part of the initial slide and forgot, but it was around the composition of data science teams. So the whole idea, being that one person really covers all of the things that you need to do data science. You need a mix. And one of the interesting things which I learned from our head of data science was that including creative, what would traditionally be seen as less engineering-based skill sets in the data science team actually gives you stuff that you wouldn't otherwise get. So they bring a different mindset to the domain effectively, and kind of think about how to engage people a bit more better, a bit of a better manner. Okay, so I think that's our wrap up for day 2, unless you have anything which we've missed. I think that's it.
I don't think so. So day 2 is our last day.
Yep.
No, day 3 is our last day. Today. Today.
We're international citizens.
We are, unfortunately.
So we'll do a wrap up tomorrow. Today we'll cover the kind of final day of the conference, and we'll just have our thoughts on how it went overall. What I may also do is throw in a kind of final video in there, just actually around the process of how we did this, because I think that's actually interesting as well. Because
nice to get some feedback too.
yeah, it would be nice to get some feedback on how other people have approached doing these kind of things, and we'll show what sort of has kind of worked for us and how we've adapted it. So, okay, with that,
Bye bye.
bye bye.